There he is. Yep, it's 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Hey, Jay.
What's up?
Hey, Jay.
Hello, Cassie. Hello, Rich.
Hello.
Hi.
What's
How
going
are you?
on? Good, good. Rich, you look so peaceful there.
I am peaceful today for some reason.
You look
I
very
am
peaceful.
too.
It was my intention that I set for myself this morning, so it's actually working today.
I love it. All right, well, it's 8:05, so we'll just do a quick meditation, kind of get the energies synchronized, and then we'll get into some questions and answers. All right, so now just relax, close your eyes, taking a nice deep breath. What we're going to do is we're just going to synergize our energies and create a coherence and divine protection. So what I want you to do is visualize energy coming from the galactic center down through your top 3 chakras, meeting at your heart. So as you breathe in, visualize the energy coming down. And as you breathe out, locking that energy into your heart. Opening all of your intellectual chakras. As you bring down the masculine energy of the universe. And now visualize the energy coming up from Mother Earth, from the center of Earth, all the way through your 3 lower chakras, connecting in your heart. So as you breathe in, bringing the energy up. And as you breathe out, locking that energy into your heart. Clearing and opening your emotional chakras, your feeling chakras. And now with the divine feminine and the masculine locked in at your heart, what I want you to do is as you breathe in, simultaneously bring the energy from Mother Earth, from Father Sky, meeting at your heart. And as you breathe out, create the toroidal field. See the toroidal field around you of pure light. As you're breathing in, bringing in the energy, and as you're breathing out, expanding this toroidal field around you. Expanding that energy into the computer, throughout the internet. This love and protection for everyone and everything. Allowing all things to rise to the highest potential of good. And take one last deep breath in. And let it out. All right. Feeling good. So, hello everyone. Let me unmute you guys now.
Hello.
Hello there.
Oh,
Hello, hello, hello.
hello.
So Sue, pleasure to meet you. Good to
Thank
see
you.
you in face. Your email was amazing. Thank you very much. Carrie, Lenny, and Thomas. Good to see you guys here. So what do you guys think of the course so far? What are your what was your favorite and your least favorite so far? Or awakening, like, I don't know about that, or wow, that was pretty interesting. So I know when I was going through this information, I had a lot of that, like, what in the world is that, and how does that work?
Yeah, I didn't have any lease. I think that the program, your course itself is very well put together. You did an excellent job. I know it took years for you to accumulate all your information and put it out there for each and every one of us. I think you did a phenomenal job, and I'm really enjoying it. I have not finished it, but I'm very impressed. I really think you did an awesome job, and thank you for all your time and for sharing with each and every one of us that we could be a part of your information.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. But it's all of our information, right? And it's about taking that information and turning it into something that we can apply. And that's why I think having the Q&A is really important, because there's a lot of information inside of that course. So I'm sure some people may have some questions on how do we apply that. And I believe it was Sue that had that.
Yeah.
The question of how do we apply that, right? Like, what was, so if you want to share your question, and then I'll get into the my vision of it.
Okay. So basically, like at the end of the course, like got to the realization that yes, the soul does have a ultimate sort of dream or an ultimate thing that it wants to achieve. So if that's already set in our fate, how, what's the point of then keeping on manifesting things that we are manifesting, or trying to manifest?
Right.
If the soul already has, its idea of what it wants you to experience, so it can experience it.
Right. So do you remember the poem when it was talking about how could God experience if he knew everything that was? So the idea was to create a place of limitation where it could forget, where we could all forget and have the experience. So in order to become masters of vibration, we have to be able to put ourselves in a place where we're limiting ourselves so that we can have the experience. So we all come from a very, very high understanding and have high abilities of creating. So we could instantaneously manifest in the golden age, right? And even beyond that, into our higher realms, we can manifest anything we want just by thinking of it in that moment. But the issue with that is you won't understand contrast and how light works. So light works on polarity, right? It's oscillation back and forth. So in order for us to go into the full-on experience, we have to be able to forget. And in the forgetting allows us to have the experience of transcending through all the conditions and the consequences of understanding divine feminine and masculine and good, bad, light, dark, and all that has to offer. So the one thing that I didn't put into the course was, actually it was quite a bit I didn't put into the course. But when we're looking at our life, right, we look at ourselves as a linear being, right? We're born here and we leave here. It's about it's an understanding, because we wake up every single day and we're waking up in this linear realm, but really it's actually cyclical. Every single day is actually a reset, and our soul is resetting the day for the experiences that we're trying to achieve within ourselves. So if you remember in week 6, I was talking about the toroidal field around us. I talked about the infinite and the finite. Everything is already manifested. Everything that exists that we could ever think of is already manifested. So what we're doing is we're pulling from the infinite the experience that we want to experience, that our soul wants to experience, that can give us the understanding and the full-on experience of it. Because remember, when we're in the higher realms, we can instantaneously manifest anything, so we can't really separate ourselves from the experience. So what we do is we come down here so that we can fully have the experience. But how we do that, how we manifest these experiences, is through our heart, right? Our heart is the magnetic field that generates and pulls from the infinite into the finite, which is the matrix, for that experience. So every single day, we're actually resetting our day and creating our next day. So when we go to sleep, remember the part about the dreams where we're sleeping 1/3 of our lives? So by the age of 30, you have slept 10 years of your life away, which it's like, what's going on in sleep? We're not just rejuvenating ourselves, right? There's so much more that's happening. So when we go to sleep, we're actually going into our higher self, into our soul, and our soul is then recreating our next day. So this is like, if you ever pay attention to your dreams will always have a correlation to what's going to happen in your day. Like, oh, wait a second. Like, for instance, my wife, Jamie, last night had a dream about a deer, right? So when you look about what a deer meant, and then going through her day, it was like a synchronicity and showing us. So when we go into our higher self, it's kind of like opening ourselves up to this very, very high energy. We can't bring that energy back here because we're so, it's kind of like like a filament, right? So we're a filament of light. And if you bring a lot of light into a filament, it blows the light. But when we go into our higher selves, we have access to all the information, to all the light that's there. And then we're able to construct our next day's reality. So it's not a linear time. It's actually a cyclical time. And our whole entire life is cyclical. So our soul is creating our next day the night that we go to sleep. So when you're looking at why do we want to manifest anything, it's because we want to experience something. You have a desire in you to have the experience, right? You want to experience X, Y, or Z. When you wake up, you have a drive to achieve something. And that drive is coming from your higher self.
Fair enough.
So the idea is to understand how to use our hearts, right? So when we start really getting into the understanding of what this matrix is, it's pure energy. That's really all it is pure energy. So when we're looking at the wall, we're looking at our bodies, what we're looking at is energy manifesting into form. What makes that energy or have meaning is you. You give meaning to everything. It's through your beliefs that creates the whole entire construct of this reality. Right? So what's interesting is when we're young, when we're children, we come into this reality, we have our parents and we have our elders, and we take on a lot of their stuff, right? So we take on a lot of their belief structures so that we can have the experience as we get into our adult years to be able to transcend those experiences. But a lot of people get stuck and they can't transcend those experiences because they have locked in their subconscious mind these blockages that they can't get past. And these blockages can manifest as like just not having a baby, poor eyesight, having twitches. All these things are manifested inside the subconscious because when we're born here, we're actually born a perfect being. But we take on these subconscious processes from our families and our friends, and then we integrate that into our system. And what we're integrating are the thoughts of others. And if we don't release those thoughts that no longer serve us, we can never get into the understanding that we are just energy manifesting that. It's through our thoughts and our heart that we're pulling from the infinite into the finite expression that is the matrix. So the stars, like when you look at predetermined reality, the stars are what's holding the construct together. When you look at the stars and how they're moving around, it's the stars that are holding the whole entire thing together for the collective. But individually, we have the ability to manifest ourselves in any way, shape, or form that we want. And it all comes through our words and our thoughts and our feelings. So what do you, like when you talk about yourself, what are you talking about yourself? How do you talk about yourself? And in situations, like if you're driving, someone cuts you off, what do you say? When you get up in the mirror and you look in the mirror, do I have to lose weight? Do I have to look better? If you can look at yourself and be like, I love you for you, and you're projecting that, the universe, your higher self, then creates that as your reality. But if we sit here and say, I have to lose a few pounds, or I want to give something up. This is the best one, right? People say they want to give up something. The mind doesn't know how to give up something. When you say you want to give up something, the mind actually attracts more to what it is you don't want. Because the mind only knows wants, right? It knows its desires, because it's always in a perpetual motion of energy, right? Energy is always moving. It's emotion. So what we want to do is we want to think about what we want and not what we don't want. And that's a huge paradigm shift, because we're always taught, and we're taught from our parents and from our educational systems, about everything that we don't want to have in our lives. Can you imagine if we started changing our language and only spoke about what we wanted? What would happen? We would enter the golden age like this, because once you start programming your mind then knows what to do with that information, brings it to the subconscious. Your heart then resonates with that vibrational frequency that's in the infinite, because everything already existed. It's in existence. You're just pulling it from the infinite into the finite to have that experience. So if we start using words, which is the most important, words and visualization, meditation, to bring what we want into this experience, it's going to happen. It's going to happen very quickly for us. So is that kind of a good one, or you want more?
Yeah,
So-
so I still didn't explain the manifesting part of, I'm just not getting it. Like,
Yeah. So what piece aren't you getting? So the manifesting part of what's the purpose?
so, yes. Because, like, if I'm already working on manifesting something and it hasn't come about, either I'm doing it wrong or it's not in my past to have that manifestation. Am I understanding correctly?
Yes and no. Yes, in the sense, yeah. Well, it comes from two different levels, right? So there are blockages. If there's something that you want to manifest, right? Your higher self wants you to manifest that, right? But it's all about what are you doing to manifest that, right? Because we're in a reality here where it's all about manifestation. It's all about contrast. In the whole scheme of things, it's all about vibrations and frequencies, and you mastering vibrations and frequencies, right? So is it what you are looking to manifest your highest good, right? So if you look at the potentiality of not just your experience of what you're about to manifest, but the whole experience of everyone around you and the intentions behind that. So if there is something that you want to manifest, right, and haven't manifest yet, what are you doing to manifest it? Like what has, like, give me an example of something that you have done in the previous 10 years that you've been working on.
Okay, so for me, it's financial freedom, because I just want to share myself and my skills more with other people, and just help everyone have a better life. Like just working on, sharing more of myself. So in order to do that, I think I need a little bit more financial freedom.
Yes.
So what I have been doing is changing my language and really trying to let go of conditioning, whether it's from family or society, that kind of thing. So that's what I've been working on.
Right. And yet, have you ever heard of the statement, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer? The only reason that is not about their soul's destination, but it's about a mindset. And each one of us have the ability right now, since 2012 hit, the whole entire paradigm completely changed. So we have that ability now if we can release the old paradigm within our mind structures. But what's happening is we don't know how to access our subconscious and make those changes. And it's actually very easy. But what it comes to is changing our language and our words, and where are we focusing, right? So it's about first visualizing what you want, and then creating a feeling within your gut, because we have our 3 chakras up top, 3 chakras below, and then we have our heart where it meets, right? So when you have the idea of what it is that you want, you have to have the emotion that goes along with that to be able to manifest that experience. It's really about the emotions. We know what we want in our thoughts. Our thoughts, we have 86,000 thoughts a day, but it's about tying the emotion. And then once we have that emotion of that's exactly what we want, listen, because the universe is going to tell you exactly how to get it. So I've been doing hypnotherapy for quite some time, right? It's interesting. When you put somebody under and you regress them, within 5 minutes, they'll tell you exactly what it is that they want and how they can get it. But when they're not in a regression, when they're not in a state of trance, it's hard for them to get past the blockages of the conscious mind, because the conscious mind has so much ideas about what should or could be, So what I would say is we are in a beautiful time now where manifestation is abundant for us, but it's all about our words and our feelings and how are we projecting that into our reality, because the universe really wants to provide for you, and it's looking for people who want to provide for everyone else, not monetarily, because everybody else is here for their own experience, but how to help them achieve the same potentiality of manifestation as you do. So if you're looking, like what I was saying for other people before, if you're looking to manifest money and help people monetarily, that might not be your soul's purpose, in the sense of what are they going to do with that money, right? How's money going to help anybody? It's not going to help anybody. Money is part of the old paradigm. We don't need money to be able to manifest our dreams, right? We need our thoughts and our emotions. Money's a part of the program right now. I mean, we can't get around it. It's definitely part of the program, but it shouldn't be the thing that holds us back from achieving what it is that we want to achieve. So it's all about holding to the highest potentiality in our thoughts and in our words every single day. And that is where the changes really start to change. That's where everything around you starts to change, right? So if you want to change the world, first change yourself, because it's through your perspective, through your perception, that allows the change to manifest. So really it starts with thought, emotion, experience. And every day, always use high vibrational frequency words that are going to help assist in bringing forth what you want. And that's really, you don't need money for that. I mean, it'll bring money into your experience, but you don't need money for that. Because I'm sure you have a beautiful story and a lot of amazing information. I mean, and for you to share that with people, I don't think, you got to pay them to listen to you, or to help them or buy them something. I think you have a light within you. If you just started sharing with anyone and everyone, that's when the universe starts feeding you and feeding you and feeding you and feeding you. And before you know it, you have more than you can handle, which is a good thing to have, especially when it comes to monetary old paradigm structure.
Well, I already feel that I am a worthwhile person. I help a lot of people, not with money, but just with different information to help them understand things about themselves, about their life. But, it would help if a little bit of, financial assistance would come in, so I'd perhaps wouldn't have to work so hard in an actual job.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I completely 1000% agree with you. Yeah, definitely. But what I would say is, they have regressions that you can do. Have you ever done a regression before? A past life regression, no. Or a this life regression?
I've wanted to, but I'd never actually did that.
So I mean, that might be something you want to look into, because then you can go in there and see where your blockages are. Because you might have something inside of you that maybe your great-great-grandfather told you when you were just born, right? It's amazing how our subconscious processes information. I was just sharing with Jamie today about a story that I heard about somebody who was terrified of drums. They couldn't stand drums. They were deathly afraid of drums. Well, the person winded up marrying or getting together with somebody who was in a band. And the person's like, you have to come see me. He's like, well, I don't like drums. So he went and seen a hypnotherapist to help him out with that. She regressed him and found out that when he was in his mother's womb, his mother was actually attacked. She was living in Africa. She was attacked on her farm, and she went and hid inside of the closet. And she was so scared, her heart was pounding out of her chest, right? So him being in the womb, hears that drum beating really loud because he's inside of water. And on top of that, the emotions of his mother then seeded into his subconscious, so that once he was born and he was growing up, he was afraid of drums because that emotion seeded with inside of his subconscious. So it's amazing how our subconscious, even inside the womb, how strong it can be, how the outside world, the epigenetics, right, are influencing our experience. And that's something that you wouldn't know unless you regressed yourself, because your soul knows everything. The power of your soul, the power of your consciousness is so extremely powerful, but you have to have access to it, which you can. You can have access to it by going into meditation, right, and asking the right questions. But again, you can do it faster if you have somebody help you along. But there could be a blockage inside of you that maybe you have the idea that, money is the root of all evil, right? That could be a blockage inside of your subconscious, where your subconscious says, wait, you really don't want that. So I'm never going to give you that, right? Or you have the idea of people who win the lottery. How many times do people win the lottery and go broke within a year? Now, if you look at the statistics of that, right, it's insane. It's like 80% of people who win the lottery wind up broke. The reason is because a lot of the people who win the lottery are in a mindset of living paycheck to paycheck, right? And then they win the lottery, but their mindset, their programming is paycheck to paycheck. So they can never understand how to run into the idea of creating financial abundance by using stocks or investments, right? Because they live paycheck to paycheck. They see all this money. They go, oh, we got to spend all this money because that's where the program runs. But our subconscious mind, there's so much hidden, untapped potential inside of there. So it's really about using words, because our words are our wands to create our reality. It really is. Our words and our thoughts create our whole entire experience. So I don't know if I said it in the course, but if you don't have something that you want, I think I did say it. If you don't have something you want, what you want to do is you want to experience it as if you already have it. The subconscious mind doesn't know anything like negatives. It doesn't know anything other than what you're expressing to it. So if you're experiencing what it is that you want and you're grateful, like they say, the expression of gratefulness is one of the most powerful experiences for the subconscious, because you're in the present, and the subconscious mind works in the present moment. So if you want money, visualize you already having the money, right? Visualizing it already being in your present. What are you going to buy with it? If you had all this money, what would you buy with that money? And visualize yourself experiencing having that money, because what you're doing is you're creating that emotional experience, that emotional excitement for you to then draw from the infinite, because that possibility is already there, and pulling it to you. Because every single possibility, anything you can imagine, is at your fingertips to bring into your experience. But you have to have that emotional fire to pull it to you. And that's why it's so important to visualize, because when you're visualizing, you're continuously attaching on to those emotions, and you're making it stronger and stronger and stronger. And being that we're all vibrations and frequencies, we're becoming a resonance to that match vibration, to that experience you're looking to have. Does that kind of tie in, or is...
Yeah, it ties in a little bit better, so I just have to work on understanding it better and maybe releasing, well, for sure, releasing those blocks. So
Yeah.
that's, I think, my next strategy.
Yeah. Do you do any chakra meditations? Any chakra cleansing meditation?
I do, yeah.
You do? Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are, I mean, that would be the first point of starting, would be to get those things fired up, because there's so much energy that's within these 7 vortexes. I mean, there's 144, right? But these 7 major vortexes. You want to have them as clean as possible, just because you want the communication between your higher self and your self here to be very clean, so you can understand and hear, right? Because that voice inside of our head is our higher self. And if we ever ask a question, the answer is always there, but are we listening to hear it, right? So if there's something that you want, if you meditate upon it, you're going to get the answer. It might not be, here's a lottery ticket, but it might be, maybe create a book, or maybe create a course, or maybe create a little workshop, right? And then you might not know how to do that, but all of a sudden you start getting all these ideas on how to do that. And before you know it, you have this massive thing, right? Like this course right here started off with an idea. And before I knew it, I had all these other things coming in and coming in and coming in and coming in and coming in. And then before I knew it, I had this 7-hour course of information. But it all starts with first the idea, then the emotions, and then always feeding into that experience. Like I said, so if you want money is what you want. What are you going to do to experience it? Are you going to go out and go on vacations? If you are, go into a meditation and visualize yourself being on a vacation, experiencing that, feeling the love, feeling the joy, because when you're doing that, you're firing up those emotional centers to pull that to you.
Thank you, Jason.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Anybody else have any comments or questions? Also quiet.
It's all about speaking the language the universe, understands. and having that elevated, heartfelt emotion.
That's it.
Feeling like it's already happened. It's already manifested.
And that's like nothing new, right? I mean, that's been,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody really is talking about that now.
Right.
It's nothing new.
Right.
But now it's time to really put it to action, because, I mean, before 2012, the energy was there, but the accessibility of it was a little bit different than it is today. Today, it's like it's really there for us to grab it, but we have to grab it. But we're still functioning in the old mindset, the old paradigm, right?
Right.
Our whole entire lives, we grew up in that old paradigm, that old structure. So to get out of that old structure, to get rid of all those releases and blockages within us is not easy. It's going to take some work, because we're just transitioning into this new age. But the only work we really have to do is just pay attention to ourselves. What words are we using? That's most important. What are you saying, right? It's all about your words.
It's not, I'm working on this. It's already happened. It's
Yeah.
You
In
know,
advance, right?
oh, it'll happen down the road. No, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Don't dwell on, things that are wrong with you. Just dwell on like things that are good and good things to happen, and it's already happened. Manifest it right now. Get excited about it. Be grateful about it in advance.
Mm-hmm.
And also holding to that that idea and not being scattered, like just holding on to that thought to bring it, to realization.
Yeah. So you guys remember when in lesson number 2, we were talking about water and how water holds memory? Well, water is everywhere. It's all around us. And that's the accessing point to bringing from the infinite to us right here in this experience, in this expression. So a good place to practice is every time you grab a glass of water, start putting your intentions into the water and programming the water, right? All that's going to do is start getting your mind into the idea of programming and programming and programming. And that's going to start shifting the balance of our minds being scattered, right? So we're going to go from being scattered to always focusing our intentions, right? Our intentions, we are intending through our intentions to experience whatever it is we're looking to bring to our lives. So if we just start with the basic water, picking up water, holding it, giving thanks or giving gratitude, or just visualizing the molecular structure of the water rising, is changing the molecular structure. Look at that. Everybody's going for water now. It's awesome.
I noticed that too.
That's awesome. It's like, that's some water. But it's so true, because every moment of our lives is an opportunity for us to change and move into the direction that we want to experience. We have an idea of what we want, or we have that idea. We know what we want, but what can we do to make that work? What can we do to make that manifest? It's all about our intention and attention. Where's our attention going? How much intention are we putting into manifesting our dreams? And that's where it comes in. And like I'm saying, the stars at this point in time are aligned in such a beautiful favor alignment that they're really there to really assist us in this awakening process. I mean, if you look in the news, you can see all the collapse happening and all this crazy stuff kind of going on in the news. It's all because that old paradigm is breaking down and something new is being ushered in underneath. And that newness is our old way of being. We just have to awaken to that potential. So when you think about the golden age is where our mind and our energy vortexes are completely clear, and our minds and our emotions are intact, and we're always in a place of manifesting our expression and experience because we know what we want. Like the poem said, for a being who knows not what is true, has the free will to choose what to do, right? Once you understand that you are in line with source, you only have one thing in mind, and that is whatever it is you're looking to manifest. And it's kind of like you put blinders on, but what you're doing is you're taking a light, like a flashlight, and you're condensing that light into a laser. And when it becomes a laser, it becomes very, very, very powerful. So we take our focus and we start lasering our focus. We start really tuning that focus. We can manifest whatever we want. And it's not going to happen instantaneously anytime soon. I think it's going to take some work, but it's going to happen much faster than it has in our past. And that's for sure, because I've been experiencing that for the last 10 years. It's been happening extremely quickly. And it's only to get better and better for us if we're in tune to it. So, Hillory, you there? I see you popped on. Mrs. Hillory? So Hillory Skott has her own podcast called
Everyday Astrology.
There she is.
There
Yeah.
I am.
Hey,
Sorry,
what's up?
I'm using my phone and I'm cooking dinner and I was having a hard time figuring out the button. How are you
Oh,
guys?
Very nice. Very good. Very good. So it was very interesting because last week you were talking about cryon, right? And how the cryon energy kind of brings out these emotions within people. And it was crazy because everyone I spoke to last week, they were like, man, these emotions are just flying out of me. They're coming out of nowhere. But it was all about like the cryon, so the wounded healer, right? It's all about going deep into the subconscious and pulling out this stuff that's kind of been hitting and kind of making it come up. And it's kind of like you gotta deal with it. And it was like everybody last week was really in that I was speaking to kind of had those emotions kind of really coming up. And it's showing how these star alignments are really pulling on our energies. And once we understand how to use these energies, we can start using them not just to, manifest our dreams, but really to start help assisting everyone around us to tapping into what our ancients knew. Our ancestors knew very, very clearly how to use this knowledge of the stars. And it's amazing when you see everybody around you kind of just in this, oh, like, what's going on? I don't know what's happening to me.
And they're and it's bringing out the really difficult, the emotions that could really stop you from progressing too.
Yeah.
So it's not fun to feel.
Yeah. And I think if when you're pressed with those emotions too, it's like, how do I get over this, right? It's if you suppress those emotions and kind of like just don't deal with what's there, what happens is it goes down deeper. And when it goes down deeper, it just runs in the background that you don't even know that it's running because we're conscious beings here, right? We're not working with our subconscious in the awakening space, but that energy is there and it's kind of like just holding us back from really achieving. Like we're going, but yet something's like holding us back and it's like, what's going on? Because we're not ready to deal with that. But when these alignments happen, it's kind of like that's pushed in our face for an experience. We have to dive into it and really go with whatever it is. And how we overcome it is going through it with the understanding that where are my words? Where are my thoughts? Where's my attention going? What do I have to focus on right now? Because the universe is providing you with something to work with. And
yeah, definitely.
I mean, it was interesting. It's my wife and I, Jamie, we went through some really. It was like, whoa, what's going on here? It's like it was a very interesting week last week for the energies and that kind of energies doesn't come around often for us. I mean, we don't experience stuff like that, and it was very good because it opened something for us because we both sat back and said, whoa, what's going on here? Like let's figure this out. And then we started talking. It was like there was so much stuff underneath that we kind of like just suppressed because of life. We have the kids, work and all that stuff. And it's kind of once you start talking about it, it comes out.
It becomes layers.
Yeah.
You're making an emotional sandwich. Sometimes it's a double decker.
Yeah. Like the Big Mac.
Yeah.
All kinds of special sauce, pickles, onions, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it is. I mean, going through the emotions, I think what our instinct is, because society doesn't like difficult emotions. They want us to put on a happy face and not feel grief or shame or guilt or anything that is shameful. So it kind of makes us suppress it, but then we kind of lose our power because we're so busy suppressing everything.
Yeah, it's interesting. Our emotions are like the only real thing that we really have, and it's the first thing we push away. When it gets a little scary or sad or embarrassing, whatever, you just push it away instead of really feeling that emotion and trying to figure out why and where it's coming from.
Yeah. Yes, and that's ultimately liberates the energy that's stuck in the rut of the emotion too.
Yeah.
So yeah, the stars are definitely, the planetary alignments are definitely forcing our evolution faster than they used to, I think. We're Definitely. If we want to grow, now's the time for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I visualize it as like a wave, right? So that this wave of energy is here, and it's like it's coming in hard. Either you can either be on top of it and ride it very nicely, or you can be on the bottom and it's gonna wipe you out. Because when everything crumbles, like it's crumbling now, and all this stuff starts coming into the news about, you know, all the stuff that's been suppressed for the last 12,000 years, people are going to be like, it's going to be depressing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that still hasn't come out yet that's going to come out that's going to rock people's worlds. And when it rocks their worlds, if they're not ready for that, it can completely disable them.
Yeah.
But the idea is you want to be able to be on top of this wave and just allow it to ride out, because it's going to ride it. This whole entire structure has to do what it's going to do. And it's, in order for us to be able to do what we have to do, it starts with you. It starts with you and your words and your thoughts and your intentions. Yeah. And even like for instance, like if this job is killing me, right? Or I don't want to deal with this person today because they drive me nuts. What does your subconscious mind do, right? It pushes you away from doing that, and it can make you sick, right? So if you're saying this job is killing me or this job is driving me crazy, what happens is your subconscious goes, oh, it's driving you crazy. Well, that's not good. So it can give you an ulcer to keep you away from your job, right? So if we start understanding how to program our subconscious mind consciously, that's the key, consciously, we're going to completely change everything quickly, very, very quickly. And this is where it comes into utilizing that toroidal field around us and the understanding that the infinite possibilities are here right now. Every parallel reality, every parallel plane of existence exists here right now. And we are the vibrational frequency. We are the tuner that can tune into that. And we have the amplification of the cosmos is right now in our favor, which is an amazing, amazing thing. It's very exciting times.
Will that continue, Jay?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're evolving. So everything around us is evolving as well.
Yeah. So we're kind of like, when you look at the yugas, right? We're kind of just coming into the Bronze Age now. So there's gonna be a lot of collapsing. So we're kind of like in this beautiful transitioning spot, right? We came down and now we're just starting to ascend back up. So everything from this point on this is when the party starts, right? We're starting to ascend. So we're going to start becoming more aware and more conscious and evolving faster. But there's going to be a lot of heartache for the old paradigm, the old structure. And people wrapped up into that paradigm structure are going to have a hard time. And the monetary system is part of that structure. The monetary system was created for one thing. It wasn't to benefit mankind. No, it was there to create a slave system in the sense of holding back mankind from achieving their greatest potential. And their greatest potential is their mind and their hearts, right? So if you can control their mind and their heart, you can control them. That's why they say that there's a 1% that control everything, because they understand how to control everyone by utilizing these structures. Once we break away from these structures and understand that we don't need anything external from us, we have it all within us, and we can call it right to us from the infinite. And it's all based on our vibrational frequencies. And it starts with our words and our thoughts. I keep on saying that, but it's so important. Like, it's incredible. Like when someone cuts you off, what do you say? When someone at work's not being nice, what do you say? Right? Like, so not what do you say here. What's happening inside of here? What's the internal dialogue happening? That's the most important, right? Because the subconscious, your mind, doesn't care about this so much. It cares about what's going on in here. So what are you thinking? What are your thoughts being projected at that moment in time when someone does something that's a little bit out of your comfort zone?
Well, I usually surround myself, first of all, in a hot pink bubble, you know, like unconditional love. And then I surround that person with unconditional love. And it seems to just stop it in its tracks. And I've been doing it for years, and it's a miracle. Works like magic.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's a thing called a hypnotic gaze, right? So it's just getting yourself into a nice trance, right? And like the same thing you're saying about the pink bubble. When you get into that nice trance, you can feel your vibration in your body. You can feel your heart pulsing. You can feel everything in your body. And when you look at somebody in a hypnotic gaze, they feel it. Like they shift. Like something happens inside of them. They're like, okay. So no words even have to be exchanged. Like they can feel that energy, which is really, really cool.
It's actually interesting with all this, the shift happening. My husband's always been like really supportive, but of my spiritual aspects. But until recently, he hasn't really made any effort to help with manifesting or help with, his personal growth. And when I talked to him about this course, Jason, he started the course. So I'm just blown away by that. how it's just amazing, and he's hooked on your course. So we'll see how he goes with it. And
That's awesome.
So we have now a really awesome conversation, before and after work, because of your course. So thank you.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's great, because it's great when you're both in the same coherence and you're on the both same level and you're kind of communicating, because what that does, it drives the emotions further and further and further to create what you both want. It assists tremendously in the manifest. When you have one person doing it, good. Two people doing it, amazing. Three, better. The more energy you can get into the tying into your emotions, the faster the belief structure manifests. So that's awesome. I'm very happy to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad the course could be the catalyst for that experience for you guys. That's great. It's been for myself and my family as well. Like before I released this to the public, we homeschooled, my wife and I had my kids do it. Like I had the kids go through the whole entire course, and kind of it generates a nice conversation. It's a great conversational piece, and the conversation is about the higher aspects of our reality, which allow us to think and experience different things and a greater potential. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to share or say, or good? Nice.
Very quiet out there.
Yeah. I guess no one had any questions about the course, which is good. I mean, you were the only one that submitted a question on the email, and then so I guess everybody has pretty good on the info, which is great. What are you thinking, Rich? You're moving there.
I'm thinking that I'm a big fan of Hillory Scott's.
Yeah.
And she's on here.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of things about your course that are really fascinating for me. Of course, you know that I've been looking at it for a little bit longer than some of the other people here. And I think that one of the most fascinating things for me was that whole wheel where, it went from the golden age down through the different ages, and the realization that like we're in a period now where we're waking up and things are happening for us. And it's probably one of the most, it's almost the reason for everything. You know what I mean? The reason to go to sleep is to wake up, Yeah. And it's almost like, and to realize that we're in a period right now, I almost want to live for like 200 years so that I can experience more of it. You know what I mean? More of the waking up process. And it's like like Sue was saying, it's like, it's hard in the beginning when you're trying to manifest things. And for me, it's like, I would say like maybe 5 years ago, I was like, when is something going to happen? When is something going to happen? And it's like little things start happening, you know what I mean? And then once these little things, you don't start with like really big things, start with little things, something that you wanted, and it will pop into your reality. Like 3 months down the line, you'll be like, oh, I was thinking about that for a while. And then all of a sudden it manifested in my conscious existence here. And after a while, these little things start popping and popping and popping and popping to the point where you're like, wait, enough, and then gradually you work on more and more and more. And you're talking about the feelings. It's like, for me, everything, and Hillory was talking about like, feelings coming up and stuff like that. It's like everything is about feelings. It almost is, for me, it's like, it's all about feelings. It's all about, if you really want something, you have to feel like you have it already. how would you feel if you had what you wanted? And as soon as you sink yourself into that kind of a way, a being, it's like things will just start popping for you, and things will come to you. That's just my experience. But I really enjoyed your course very much. I really, that one part where you talk about the different ages and all the things that were happening in the world at that time. That's amazing. How you talk about how the astrology part is really fascinating for me too, and I would like to delve into that more and understand more about that.
Yeah, well, I would definitely suggest following Hillory Skott, her astrology, her podcast it's on Google.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, do. Okay. Yeah, Everyday Astrology Podcast. Awesome podcast.
Yeah, all I have to do is tell that little machine over there. Her name is Alexa. If I say it, she's going to wake up. And, all I have to do is ask Alexa to play it, and she plays it. It's great.
Yeah. I look forward to Mondays, because when Hillary's her report of the stars for the week come out, it's like she is so dead on every week. It's like me and Jamie found her a few years ago. I came across her, like, man, this girl is something else. Like, she is so on point with the energies of the week and what we can experience throughout the week, and it's all within 15 minutes. Her podcast is 15 minutes, 20 minutes long, and it's so right dead on of what's going to manifest in the energies of the potentialities of the week. And it's for a few years she's been dead on for me, so I absolutely love it and highly recommend it.
Jason, is there a website for her?
Yes, the Everyday Astrology Podcast.
Everyday Astrology Podcast. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jason.
Yeah, no, you're serious. I'm telling you, I followed a lot of astrologers throughout my life, and I've never found one that hits like you hit it, and the time you hit it. I mean, some of them go out, watch an hour show, and you're like, oh, that's a lot of information, but you hit it within 15 minutes. It's amazing.
It's very tricky. That's the trickiest part, is shortening it into like making it very concise.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I managed to pull it off, and that you enjoy it. That's very flattering. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very good. But astrology plays such a huge role in our experience. It's like something that we completely have forgotten about. I mean, people go outside and like, oh, there's a star up there. That star is, I'm not sure. But I mean, back in the day, we had nothing else to do but to study the stars and the energies of the stars, right? So it was all about understanding the vibrational frequencies of the sounds and the light that's being broadcasted from these stars. So if you go on YouTube and type in sounds of the stars, you can actually hear the vibrational frequencies of the stars, right? And then if you look at it through the Nikon, like I did on the course, you can see the flicker rate, which gives you a vibrational frequency. So what we're looking at is cymatics in action. So the cymatics of the stars are then being broadcasted into this reality, into this realm, and it's allowing the enigma, which is us, the energy, to dance around and have this experience in a collective agreement, right? So we all have this collective agreement of experience here, but we all have our individual experience. And that's what I was trying to get when I created lessons 6 and 7, or 5 and 6. Where 5, I was kind of talking about the external world, but 6 was talking about the I am presence, the internal world. Because no matter where you go, if you go to heaven, if you go to a different universe, anywhere, that toroidal field, that I am presence within this universe is going to be there with you, because what you are is just pure awareness. You will always be manifesting through that toroidal field. So while we're here, though, we are subjected to the laws of nature and the construct of the matrix, which is the stars. And I think understanding how the stars are in relationship with each other and with us is a huge key element for us to be able to have the assistance in manifesting, right? So why are we feeling the way we are? It might not be something personal. It could be something that we're all collectively experiencing. Like last week, we'll cry on. I mean, the experience that Jamie and I had was a very specific experience. And yet I start talking to people and are like, I had a very similar experience. And they're like, I was crazy emotional last week. And it's like, wow, what's going on? But what's going on is the energies of the light and sound being propagated, just like cymatics, into our reality.
It definitely helps to navigate it if you have an understanding of that stuff. It gives you like some sort of like control, ultimately, some sort of control over the experience.
Yep. I fully
if not control, then at least an awareness of where it's coming from and why.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, because there's a lot of stuff we don't have control of. No matter what we know, we still don't have control.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Or fortunately.
Or fortunately, yeah. True that.
You know, it's interesting. It's going back to like talking about polarities. I've been around my gram a lot lately, and she is very unhappy. And I keep on pointing out to her, there's two ways of seeing it, Graham. You could see it this way, or you could see it this way. And she does not want to see it any other way. But it reminds me, like, I think about, like, I was getting very upset and aggravated, like, oh gosh, you know, she's so hard to be around. But I was thinking, like, it's showing me that there's another way of looking at it too, that there is another, like, universe going on there, another whole reality going on there that I'm not really seeing, but she is. And for me, it's the opposite. You know, there's a whole other reality here that she's not seeing. I have to tell you, I like my reality a lot better. If I wouldn't want to be so sad like she, or cranky like her all the time. But I remind her every day that I'm so happy to see her smile. And she kind of forgets for a minute.
Some people just get stuck in their groove, right? And they don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
And I think the longer you've been stuck there, the harder it is to even see that there's another way.
Yeah, probably, for sure.
That's the conditioning, which we can all overcome. We can definitely overcome that conditioning, but it takes work on our part. And the work is watching what we're saying and how we're saying it. And what we're thinking, right? Obviously, you can't change your thoughts right away. When a thought comes in as a thought, but you can be aware of the thought and then analyze that thought. Like, why'd that happen that way? Like, what's the association? And change the associations, because the mind is nothing but pictures. That's all it is. Pictures are our thoughts, right? And once we can start creating different associations to the pictures, we can change the picture, and we no longer have those negative or adverse associations to our thoughts. For instance, I had a panic attack 2 years ago, and I never really had panic attacks before. And I got up on stage and I'm doing an event, and all of a sudden, boom, I have a thought came into my head. I'm like, something is not right. You're gonna mess this up. And I'm like, whatever. Kept going, and then it came in again. The second time that it came in, I allowed an emotion attached to it. Once the emotion attached to it, like I was like, oh wait, something's going on here. My whole entire body just shut down. Like my mind stopped working, everything shut down, because I allowed the thought to attach an emotion. Once the thought attaches to an emotion, it becomes your reality. Your whole entire physiology changes based on the thought and the emotion collecting together. So that's why it's so important to be able to manage the thoughts as they're coming in and say, where are you coming from? What's the association here? If it's not serving your highest good or your highest potential, then it's okay to get rid of that. You know, it's okay to say, thank you for coming. I'm not sure where you come from, but you no longer serve me, and I release you. And that's it. And then just allow thoughts to come in and just observe and see where they're coming from. And it's really up to us to do the work right now individually. And once we have us taken care of, then we can share completely with everyone. And it'll be very easy. It's effortless.
I have this little thing that I've been doing lately. Speaking of paying attention to your thoughts, sometimes like I'll be lost in a thought, and now I'm like, oh, how did I even get here? Like, I was just thinking about driving to the grocery store, and now I'm like thinking about next week's outfit I'm gonna wear, you know, like something weird. And so I was thinking, like, I could be thinking about anything I want at any moment, and I let my mind go on autopilot. So when I get into those lost in those thoughts and I'm becoming aware of it, I'm like, oh no, I want to be thinking about this instead. So it like kind of reminds me to already see myself having that manifestation created, or already visualizing that manifestation, and kind of telling my mind it's there, versus things that doesn't even matter right now, or things in the past that I'm spending my time in.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everything is here for the taking, and it's just up to us to be willing to become that match vibration to that experience, to really bring it into our existence. It's here. The time is now. There's no better time than now.
True. Our lives are like a quantum canvas. What are you going to put on the canvas? You're the paint, you're the mold, you're the canvas. How are you going to paint? How are you going to paint your life?
Yep.
We have control of our own universe. We have that power to put the visual out there, paint the positive picture or the negative picture. So, what are you going to do? What are you going to choose?
Yeah.
Hey Jay, did you notice there's 2 questions inside?
No.
One is from Carrie and one is from Lenny.
Okay.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, I'll hold the questions up actually.
Okay, so Carrie asked, she said first she didn't have any audio. I do not have audio. Okay. That was at 8:22. That was a while ago. Jeez.
Oh.
I have not finished a course yet and do not know if you cover this in it. What have you found to be the best way to clear the unconscious beliefs?
Oh, that's a fantastic one. The best way to do that for yourself is meditation, and a good guided meditation. So you can use someone like Dick Suffin. He has very, very good guided meditations, or Steve G. Jones. If you have Google, what's it called? Google Play. It's also called YouTube Red. I think it's like $10 a month. Google Music gives you all the music, but they also have podcasts, and they have access to like all these awesome meditations in there. And they have all of Steve G. Jones's work, and they have all Dick Suffin's. That's a great place to start, because a guided meditation is by far the easiest way in the beginning to start clearing the subconscious mind, because doing it yourself is good, but you have to build into it. So having somebody else there assisting you is huge. And then again, if you can work with somebody one-on-one, that's by far the best, because it's very quick. So
Yeah.
you can definitely make moves really quickly working with someone one-on-one, because it's individualized. Yeah, I would definitely start doing a meditation every single day, at least 15 minutes a day, and just working like that. I think that's the best way to do it. But unconscious beliefs are they're a pickle. Really, I mean, like honestly, to really get into them, you have to do you got to do a regression, and not a past life regression, a regression for this life.
Yeah.
And kind of go in there and kind of see, where are these blockages coming from. I'm not going to get into, I went through the whole story with Jamie here, but so I did a regression with Jamie. She was going through some experiences that were just upsetting her, and she was upset for like 2 weeks, and she didn't understand why. So we did a regression on her, and it turned out that she had an experience when she was younger. When where were we, 3 or 4?
So yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so you were very young, and she wound up having this whole emotional release. And once that was over, it was like, that's it. It was gone. It was done. So really, those unconscious blocks are there. So, I mean, really the best way to do it is to do it with somebody professionally, but you can definitely start with like Steve G. Jones or Dick Suffin, and it's very cheap. Google Music is $10 a month, or you can probably find them on YouTube as well.
Yeah, and while you're doing your meditations, you can also ask, where is it coming from? Whatever it is, whatever you're believing in that you think is holding you back or unconscious. Ask where it's coming from and why. And even if you don't get an answer right then and there, it will come to you, because your subconscious mind knows everything, and it wants to tell you. You just got to be there to pay attention. So as soon as you ask those questions, it's showing that you're there paying attention, and it will give you the answers.
Definitely. And another good time to access your subconscious mind is right before you go to bed and right after you wake up, because you're moving into that trance state, right? So especially as soon as you wake up, if you can remember or write a note next to your bed, as soon as you're waking up, look at the note, boom, and just lay there for a second. And in that moment, you're kind of like, you're in a transitional phase, right? In that transitional phase, it's like the universe is opened up for you. So you can ask anything you want, and you can just listen for the answers. And you'll get your answers. It comes in pretty quick. And another thing you can do is, not so much for regressions, but for affirmations. If you want to experience something more in your life, create an affirmation. So you can take your phone and record yourself saying whatever it is you want to experience. I am abundant, I am love, I am compassion, whatever it is you want. Play that back in the bathroom and look at yourself in the mirror. Because when you look at yourself in the mirror, what you're looking at are your eyes. Your eyes are the seat of your soul. So you're accessing right to your subconscious mind. And when you're staring at something, you're actually setting aside your conscious mind. And you're opening up your subconscious, which is your higher self. So it's really good to stare at yourself in the mirror and look directly into your eyes and talk to your soul that way. And it's a direct connection that way.
And say it with emotion and belief, because that we talked about the emotion really pushing things into fruition, you know, energy, emotion. So when you're having that emotional feeling, or you're talking to yourself in the mirror, have that emotional feeling as well. And then, okay, so then there's another one from Lenny. He asks, is this like having a lucid dream or a lucid life?
Yeah, I think I said that in, when did I say that? I think I said that in like the introduction of the course. Yeah, it's very similar. Yes. So, I mean, our whole entire life is, I mean, when you get down to the essence of what is happening here, our life is a dream state, right? That's why I call it the soul's dream, because this is a dream. This is our soul's dream. Who we are is not this. We're just taking on this human body for a certain amount of time, and then we transition, we change into another phase of energy, right? But who we are is pure awareness. So the soul manifests all these different experiences as male, female, all these different amazing experiences, but it's the soul's dream. And that's why we return every single night to go to sleep. We return back to our source, because nobody can stay here unless they're what we call masters, right? Masters have understanding of how the energy in the bodies work, and they can sustain themselves in this reality for long periods of time by manipulating the energy within them. But most people can't do that. So what you have to do is you have to go back to source to recharge. And when we're back to source to recharge, we're actually creating our next day. So when you're going to sleep at night, if there's something that you want to experience, it's also a good time to think about what you want while you're going to sleep. Because guess where you're going? You're going right to your higher self with those thoughts. Your higher self goes, oh, that's what you want. Starts implanting those into your dreams, which show you that they're coming into your reality. Because dreams, when we have dreams, they're showing us what our reality is as we're making them for that night. And then Kerry said, also, why do some people not remember their dreams? The reason why we don't remember our dreams is because there's multiple layers of dimensions, right? So we're here in this 3/4 dimensional reality. Then you have a 5th dimension, and you have a 6th dimension and a 7th dimension. The 5th, 6th, and 7th dimension are kind of similar to the lower dimensions, which are the 3rd and 4th, right? They have a structure similar to ours. But once you get into the 8th, 9th, and 10th dimensions, there's no physicality in a sense. It's more of an energetic reality. So if you were to take you and put you into the 8th dimension, your comprehension would grow exponentially. So to take this much information, I'm moving my hands here, this much information, and then bring it back down into this reality here, you couldn't squeeze all that information in here. So what happens is, as we go to sleep at night, when we have our dreams are actually in the 5th and 6th dimensions. That's why we're able to remember them. Like dreams such as flying, right? That's a 5th dimensional reality. That happens in the 5th dimension. You're able to move your consciousness in your body as at will. So that's a 5th dimensional experience. But when you move into a 6th and 7th dimension, you start becoming more light, and then you're into the 8th and 9th. There's physicality is much, much different than it is now. And there's no way for you to have a reference to the information that's happening there to hear. But that's really where we're creating our next day, because our oversoul, our higher self, it goes like this, right? So we're here, it kind of comes out as the broadness goes up in energy, right? So our higher self is really in control of our reality. It's really manifesting what's in front of us all the time. It's within our own toroidal field. So what's being projected, I don't know what lesson that was in, I think it was in 5, about instead of seeing now, we're now turning into transmitters on, and we're projecting our reality, right? So it's everything that's coming in, we are now projecting it, and that's becoming our reality, because our belief creates the reality. We can all look at, this cup right here and come up with many different ideas of what it is. And each one of us will be right within our own belief. And yet to each other, we'll be like, no, that person's completely wrong. Because we all have our own belief structures. We all have our own identity to what things are. And not everyone is right within their own process, in their own right, really. But when you go into the higher realms, we can't comprehend that information as we come back down. But our higher self is really manifesting our reality. And that's why I think it was in lesson 6. No, it was lesson 7, when they were talking about how the subconscious mind, 6 seconds before the conscious mind chooses to do something, has already chosen to move right or left. Because the subconscious mind is the one that's really in control of our experience. Our conscious mind is, remember, it's only 5% of our reality. It's only 5% of who we are. But that's what we perceive to be us. We wake up like, oh, this is me. This is my conscious awareness. But really, our subconscious mind is just as much as us as our conscious mind. And that's what's really projecting our reality. So if you haven't gotten to lesson 7 yet, in lesson 7, there's this British scientist who does this experiment with the conscious mind where they use random generators, and they pick right or left or blue or green, whatever it is. And they were able to determine that before you press the button, 6 seconds before your finger moves, your subconscious mind has already made the decision, showing us that this reality that we're experiencing here is a 6 seconds lag to our subconscious mind. But our subconscious mind is creating our experience for us as we're moving, and it's creating it from our dreams that we've had the previous night. Because remember, our whole entire experience is cyclical. It's not a linear expression. It's actually a cyclical energy. It's continuously moving like this. And every single day seems like the same day, right? Like tomorrow's going to seem very similar to today, but yet it's going to be much different. And the reason why it's going to be much different is because our awareness and our experiences within ourselves are different as we're changing and evolving. And also the different rotations of the planetary bodies above us. Hopefully that answered your question, Carrie.
Thank you, Carrie says.
Wow. You are most welcome. So anybody else have anything else before we, no? And if you guys have any, any questions during the week or anything kind of pops in, send me an email and I will definitely get back to you.
Yeah,
and
love to discuss.
Sue, maybe next week have your husband come on. Love to meet him.
Okay, if we can manage it. Because here in Australia, it's 11 o'clock in the morning, so usually we're all working.
Oh, wow. Nice. You're in Australia. Very nice.
Yes.
Very cool. What's the weather there right now?
Well, it's autumn here now, so it's cooling down, but it's a beautiful sunny day today.
Nice. It looks sunny. Very nice. All right. Well, thank you guys for hopping on, and
thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Oh,
yes. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah. Good. Nice meeting you all. So have a wonderful week and enjoy the course.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Love and gratitude.
Love and gratitude. Thank you very much.
Right.
Yeah.